Hey everybody, this is SeetherCord here.
This is Jimmy.
And welcome today to the epic review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie.
Spoilers free.
Only 2 weeks late. Everyone on the internet already knows how it ends. But anyways, we're not going to do spoilers. And I'm sorry that we are so late on this. We are horrible. We deserve to be like shunned and throw tomatoes like they do in Spain. You know?
Yeah.
Don't they do that like at festivals where they just like throw tomatoes at
Yeah,
people?
they have the tomato festival there where everybody throws tomatoes at everybody.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds painful too.
Maybe. Depends on how rotten the tomatoes are.
I get what you did there because the whole rotten tomatoes. Because we're official reviews. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's the worst movie ever. 87% approval rating.
Pretty much. That's exactly how it goes.
Anyway, before we get into the movie, let's start with the introduction. Again, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. We're going to be a little casual about it. We're just going to give our thoughts. We're not professional film critics or anything.
Yep.
So we're just going to give our, amateurish movie critique viewership review. And if you guys want to see the movie after our opinions or you don't, that's fine. So, to give a little back context, the first movie came out in, I think, February 2020, literally like 2 weeks before the whole pandemic COVID-19 shutdown started.
No, you can't say it. You can't say it.
They don't care anymore. It's been 2 years, like for real, you can say it. But the pandemic started, and it was like the last really successful movie before then. Thankfully, it came out right before then.
Yeah.
And then people say like, oh, well, Onward would have done way better if it didn't happen right when COVID hit. But like, nah, I had a good solid week before the world shut down. So it wasn't that good. But anyway.
Yeah. To be honest, Onward was not that good at all.
Yeah. Anyway, 2 years later, pretty much almost around time Valentine's Day, I think. Yeah, it came out.
Yeah.
No, it didn't come out Valentine's. What am I talking about? It's March.
It didn't come out on Valentine's.
The first movie came out on Valentine's Day. The second one didn't. But yeah, about a little bit over 2 years later, 2022, we got the second movie. And with the whole spoilers, Knuckles is in the movie, even though he's in all the trailers.
Yeah.
And Tails.
Right. So,
where do we leave off in the story? Pretty much from the first movie. Sonic got accustomed with James Marsden. That's just actually, I don't know his real name. And his wife, and he moved in. And Dr. Eggman got banished to the Shadow Realm with the Bakugan card. I'm just kidding. He got banished to the Mushroom Land where Mario is. And now 2 years later in the next movie, he finds a way to escape. And now he's like, I'm going to take over the world again, or attempt to.
Yeah, like, on the first movie, I remember everybody got so hyped up when they saw the Tails scene at the end. And I was loving it. I was expecting like a lot of attention towards Tails, but to be honest, personally, I think they gave a lot more attention to Knuckles for some reason.
Oh yeah, I think that's because that was like the big reveal for the trailer, and it's like Tails got some acknowledgement, but it's like people are like, oh, Tails, and then it's like, oh, Knuckles and everything. And now I don't know. Who knows? I'm going to get in the light spots because everyone's aware about it. Even before the second movie came out, everyone's like, oh my gosh, Shadow's going to be in the third movie. And it's like, it pretty much alludes to that. And who knows, maybe Amy could be in it too. And like when the trailer for the third movie comes out in 2024, that's probably when we think, they'll probably reveal Amy. It just, I can't confirm it. I'll be fine if she's not, but it feels kind of like right to put her in there too. If she's not in there, it'll feel like something's missing. But
yeah. Would you like it to end on the third movie, or would you be okay if they make like a fourth or a fifth one and they just keep going, like those Marvel movies that just keep expanding the universe endlessly?
I think they already got the Netflix series announced, the animated show, so I'm pretty sure like the third movie is going to be like the last one, and then they'll reboot the franchise by 2030 in like 10 years. They'll do that. Yep. But I'm just glad that we live in a time now where video games have finally gotten good movie adaptations.
Oh yeah, what was that movie before Sonic? There was another movie that was based on
Detective Pikachu.
Pikachu, yes.
That was not bad, but it wasn't like good either from like a critical or fan standpoint. It had Ryan Reynolds who did pretty good, but he's like the only really like good part of that movie. But we're rambling.
Like comparing the two movies, if I had to be honest,
Sonic is way better.
No. What I wanted to get to is like Pokemon, they got the Pokemon designs right on the first try, but literally it had to take internet bullying for them to change the Sonic designs. Remember the first Sonic design?
Oh, yes. The movie would have had such a... I think the movie would have still been... I don't know. I feel like a lot of people probably wouldn't have gone to see the first movie if they did the first design because it really turned off some people. Mm-hmm. But they fixed it and it looks really good.
Yeah, one thing that people noticed like later on after watching the movie is that actually the Tails design they use on the little final part on the first movie is different from the Tails design from the Sonic 2 movie.
Oh, really?
I think that's cool, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like in the very end credit scene for the first movie, it's different. Well, I guess they just needed some more time to, like, perfect it and update it, I guess. Because, they weren't... We already knew that the original plan for how Sonic was going to look in the first movie, he looked... At least to me, he looked like Sid from Ice Age. he looked like Sid from Ice Age. But just imagine if they would have just regularly went through and they planned Tails. Imagine what Tails would have looked like. I don't want to think that, but...
Yeah. I feel like they did like a quick fix when they did it in the first movie, but then like they polished it way better, just like you said. What would your thoughts would be if they actually ignored it?
If they ignored it, the movie probably would have not gotten a sequel because again, it looked ugly. It would have turned off a lot of kids and parents because kids would be like, "Oh, this is scary," and like it would have just been like a one-time thing. Like, unfortunately, Detective Pikachu. I think they were considering it, but I've been hearing more news outlets say like they're not going to make a second movie, which they wanted to, but it's fine. Yeah. Anyway, we rambled a little bit. We'll get back to the story. So essentially, we just introduced two new characters, Tails and Knuckles, and basically, I'm not saying they do the same thing over again like in the first movie, but like it's kind of like Eggman just trying to take over the world again. And to be fair, we didn't rewatch the first movie before, which we probably should have. To kind of get context because I don't really remember that much of what they did, but one of the only kind of bad things about the movie is they kind of do like hit the same notes where they did in the first movie. Like there's like in the first movie Sonic and James Marsden, I'm just gonna go by his name. I hope that's his actor's name, I really hope so, but they go to the saloon and they like cause a ruckus. And in the second movie, Sonic and Tails go to like a saloon in the Siberia, I think, and then they cause a ruckus.
You said it was gonna be spoiler free, but
wow, a spoiler! They go to Siberia. That's so spoiler heavy.
But like story wise, it's almost the same process. Like villain tries to take over the world. The heroes have some issue. The heroes solve the issue, and then the heroes beat the bad guy. That's it. It does follow the same like storyline as the first movie, but
there is some differences.
Yeah, there are a few differences, and I also think they did a very good job adding the two new characters, Tails and Knuckles, into it. Do you have a favorite between the three? Among those three,
I really liked. I'm gonna be really fair. They did not do Tails any real justice in the movie. It's just like. When the trailers came out, it's like, oh, it's just Knuckles, and like he gets all the fan art now, and it's like Tails has his little moment in the first half of the movie where he has his arc, and he's like, oh, Sonic, I don't know if I'm like good enough, and I'm voiced by a girl, even though I'm a boy character, but I don't know, but like it's really noticeable, especially in the newer games. But anyway, that's besides the point, and it's just like after that's solved, it's just like. And then we focus on like, I am Knuckles, I am going to kill Sonic. But I do like that all three still, and I like that they do have their kind of different designs to it. Like Sonic is like the basic kind of, they don't all look the same with how they modeled them. Like Sonic looks like his own character, like the base normal size, and then you have Tails, which is like a tinier model character, and then Knuckles, which is like this big buff one.
And stronger, Like, I don't know if you remember, but like in Sonic Boom, that's when they added the whole like different body shapes. Yeah. Where like everyone else has a little rounded body, but like Knuckles has a like buff chest.
Well, they did that like, and I think like 5-6 years ago for a little bit, and then they kind of realized like, okay, let's not make him like some weird kind of human like anatomy and like super tall. We'll make him like the same height as everyone else, but just a little buffer, because they just worked out the kinks, and it's kind of weird, that Sonic Boom design.
Yeah. Oh, about Sonic Boom, after Sonic the movie 2 came out, for some reason Sonic Boom has been getting so much attention, especially the lines that Knuckles says in that show, because kind of the personality that he has in the movie is very close to the personality he has in that show.
I wouldn't say the same. He's not like, how do I say it? He's like in the show, which I barely watched it because when that show came out,
Same.
I was still like, I was not really watching Cartoon Network because I was like 16 in high school. I remember I watched like an episode or two, and he's like making a lot of like dumb, like arrogant comments. He's not really like arrogant.
Yeah.
He's just a little slow, and he's like very uncultured, which in the show he's cultured.
Yeah, he's very cultured in the show. And then there's this meme that popped up out of nowhere, and I love it. It's like everybody's checking this paper, and then when Knuckles grabs it, he looks at it for like a solid 10 seconds, and then he looks to the camera and he's like, oh, I remember, I don't know how to read.
I remember, like, I love the part in the movie, this isn't really spoiler, but like they're trying to track Sonic through like a text message, and then Knuckles is like reading it, and then he gets like the dot, and he's like,
dot. Yeah,
but,
because when you're getting a message on certain chatting apps, like it shows like 3 dots like disappearing and appearing, and he thought that was a new message, and he was like, dot.
Yeah. But otherwise, besides them, the movie has like this really weird vibe to it, and not a good or bad way, but it's like when you don't see like either Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles, like with the CGI, and you just see the human characters, because ironically enough, there's a lot of scenes in the movie that don't have any of those characters.
Yeah.
It doesn't have Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. There's like tons of scenes where it's just like the humans like talking, like James Marsden, his wife, Eggman, the henchman.
Yeah.
And it's like you see the buddy cop character too, and it's just like this doesn't feel like a Sonic movie like half the time. It really doesn't.
Yeah. Like okay, so there's one thing that they actually paid attention in the first movie that they continued on the second one, and that was the wedding arc. Like the main character's wives,
sister-in-law.
Sister. Yeah. Like the sister-in-law was inviting them for her wedding on the first movie, and then the wedding happens on the second movie.
Did it actually? I don't remember them. I remember the whole thing of Sonic like tying her up and kidnapping her, but it's like,
yeah, she was coming to the house to check on him, and she wanted to invite them to her wedding too, and then it happens on the second movie, like the wedding itself, and there are so many scenes of just the wedding happening, and like maybe some comedy here and there, where there's like no Sonic, no Tails, no Knuckles at all, just humans.
Yeah, so I'm just more like thinking in my head, the thing I have to say though is there's a lot of like arcs and different character dynamics, because there's like portions of the movie where it's just Sonic and Tails, and then there's a portion of the movie where it's just James Marsden and dealing with the arc with the wedding, and then there's also the arc with like his friend cop that's running the town while he's on vacation as head chief, and then there's like Dr. Eggman and his henchman thing, and then it's just like there's too many. That's my one problem.
There's one thing also that I didn't like about the movie is like usually what I am accustomed to is like a transition between one scene and the other, but in the second movie it would just like jump from one place to the other. Like for example, you had Sonic and the snow in like Siberia or something, and then they had the wedding in Hawaii, and like the cameras would just like,
don't spoil it. Yeah.
It's just the cameras would be like like going back and forth between the two scenes, and it's
very weird.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those. Okay, that's actually something to say how the first movie does better. Is that you don't have like 5-6 like arcs or plot lines going on. You have like, from what I remember, it's just James Marsden and Sonic going on like a road trip and trying to like stop Eggman, and then also like Eggman and his henchmen like chasing them. From what I remember, and then pretty much nothing with like a third maybe there was like a third arc in like some way, but I don't remember. But there's just like, you just had those two and they like kind of entwined perfectly, which some of these other plots would actually need to mention. The plot arc with, you know, the cop has like some purpose to it.
But the wedding has nothing.
The wedding, no, okay, literally after like, you know, there's a point in the whole wedding plot. We're not going to spoil it, but there's a point in the wedding plot where it doesn't involve Sonic, Tails, Knuckles at all. And then you just see these human characters and they just deal with that. It's funny. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty funny. It was very funny. Whoever like that lady is she was. We were laughing our butts off in the theater. But it's like
so funny. She was so good. I'm not gonna deny that she was so good. But that scene.
But like no, like the last like 10, 15 minutes of that plot line, it doesn't lead to anything. And once it ends and once they finish up that plot line, it's never mentioned again. It's never. You don't even see her again. You don't see her.
Like, it gets resolved, and then it
you never know. I was actually wondering, like, they're gonna come back or...
they change the focus to, like, Sonic again, and, like, never address it again, ever.
I don't know why they... part of me feels like they only really added that last 20 minutes of that plot line just to fill up the time for the movie. Yeah. It didn't... I feel like if they got rid of that, it would have just been, like, 70, 80 minutes, which you find with, like, kids' movies.
True, and also, another thing that they didn't answer on the first movie... And they also did not answer on the second movie, but they mentioned it again, was the owl.
The owl, yeah. Like, that was weird. That's actually one thing they did, I guess, better in. Because in the first movie, you have this whole thing with the owl. Like, Sonic is raised by this owl. And then it's mentioned, like, the first 5 minutes. And then never again. And then in the second movie, they bring it back. And like, oh, okay. You know.
Oh, remember the owl? Okay. That's it.
Yeah, I give them credit because I knew that when they made the first movie, I knew that they were planning multiple movies. They were planning a trilogy, and they were like, they're kind of doing with the whole thing with the owl. I feel like that's gonna play a part with, you know, the third movie, and you know, because this is the movie where they introduced the Chaos Emerald. Not really like a spoiler, but it's addressed, and that's gonna be in plot for the third movie when they incorporate again. Not spoilers because everyone knows Shadow. Yeah. So it's like, that's going to lead to that. But another thing, though, to mention is... my brain stopped for a second. But...
it's okay, we can just cut it.
Yeah. But anyway, the whole thing with... When it comes to, like, before we finish with talking about the story and to get in the plot and the issues of that, we'll get to the other stuff, is... when it comes to, like, that plot narrative thing, I feel like they were trying to make it more appealing to adults, because it is a kid's movie at the end of the day. But they're trying to, you know, catch that market or audience of, you know, adults that grew up with Sega or Dreamcast or Sonic, and be it from the 2D era Sonic or the 3D, and try to keep them interested with some more adult stuff, because they're not inappropriate, but just, like, more relatable stuff to adults. And they do that, but it's just kind of like, they did it better in the first movie than the second one.
Yeah.
Then you have I don't know. I just feel like they would have done better. You know, maybe we're just cutting that out and maybe trying some other method to make it more for adults, which again, in terms of like for kids, it's great for kids, you know, minus like the toilet humor you see and everything. You know, there is some like fart jokes and maybe like a poop joke, but again, that's every kid's movie really. Yeah. Like that's just something that's just going to be there, but it's not insultingly bad, you know.
Yeah. To be honest, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It's a good movie. It's not amazing, but it kind of lives up to its name. You know, it's a video game based movie. It's above average for a video game based movie.
You're kind of wrapping it up though. We still got some more stuff to talk about. We'll get to that last.
Yeah, like I totally recommend it personally.
We're not even done. I got some other stuff I want to talk about.
Like, what would you like to talk about?
Well, we could talk about the music, the visuals.
Oh,
the music's pretty good. They have a little bit of a modern twist to it, which I don't know if exactly that would kind of mix with Sonic. I guess I don't really know any of the artist names. We got some rappers in there, and I guess like Sonic kind of has like a rapper audience feel to it a little, because he's kind of like
fast.
He's not like Mario, where Mario is like, you know, the standard, the everyman kind of guy character, but Sonic is more kind of like the not like the outcast, but more like the you know, appeals to like the outdoor market of like people that go against the system kind of thing.
True.
So there's that. But again, the music's pretty good. The visuals, and they go to certain places, they're all beautiful. You know, you got Siberia, Hawaii. You get some, like, when they get to the point where they're going to the Chaos Emerald, and then they go to, like, these, like, ancient temple kind of places and everything.
That was so well made.
It was very well made. And then the point in the mountains in the movie, which we're not spoiling, but when they're going to, like, hunt for certain things and another type of, like, dungeon, it's really cool with all the visual stuff. The last thing I guess I could mention, no, I think I got everything, really. I got the humor, I got the story, I got the visuals, I got the music.
I have to say one thing. I don't remember the credits from the first movie, but the credits from the second movie,
pretty good.
Sit down and watch the whole thing because it's amazing. It's so well made. It's 2D animated, and it has a lot of visuals from the games mixed up with some 2D animation and some like video effects and stuff with some great music.
And it recaps the whole movie.
Yeah, it recaps the whole movie. Yeah, and it plays a cool song too. We hear it in the car a lot.
Oh yeah. It's pretty good.
It's so good. It's so good. The credits are so well made. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's really good in that sense. Yeah, I'll let you get yours because you kind of already like after me because you already kind of said yours, but then you can recap it again. But in my opinion, for the movie, I'm gonna give it from a Sonic fan, like both of us as fans of Sonic the Hedgehog growing up, and still a little bit to say, but not wow. I feel like if you are a Sonic fan, I feel like you could still be very satisfied with this movie and that it's overall pretty good. But I will say that compared overall to the first movie, it's not as good. And there are some problems that have popped up since the first one, which I hope, which I'm a little concerned that when the third movie comes out, by again, we expect 2024, I hope that this third movie coming out with Shadow and hopefully Amy, will not repeat the same problems with. There's a chance it could get worse. You know, the first one's really good, second one's all right, and the third one could be like, oh, this would be kind of bad, which I have a feeling, I don't know, there's a part of me that feels like they might learn from their mistakes because they've been proven to, you know, learn from mistakes before in the first movie with the design. From a non-Sonic fan point of view, if you really like movies, I feel like you would really like the first one, but if you're looking for something that's up to the level of the first one, then maybe you shouldn't watch the second one. But if you're for the second movie overall, if you're a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, keep going. Second one, but if you're not a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, just watch the first one, really.
Yeah, just watch the first one and stick to it. In my opinion, it's very good. It's amazing for kids. It has good humor, a good story. It's choppy, which is something I don't like. The whole like jumping back and forth too fast between the plots instead of like having a transition that wouldn't be so extremely noticeable. I think it has amazing animation. Like the characters look very real. Especially there's a few scenes where they're carrying them in their arms as if they're babies. You know, I remember seeing scenes where they carry Sonic and they carry like Tails. And it's seamless. You don't see like the separation, you know, because I remember, for example, from Garfield, that's years ago.
Like you're talking like 2003 or something.
Yeah, like comparing from that until now, like the 3D animation has improved so much to where I remember that there's a scene where they're carrying Garfield. And you can see like the hand kind of going into Garfield in some frames, and like in this one they nail that. It's totally fine, totally great. Oh yeah. And I like the villain. Like one thing that I would have to say got better on this movie was Eggman. Like
he's definitely he's kind of like slowly transitioning through each movie to be more like the Eggman we've always known and everything. In the first movie, Eggman's just this like dude in a black suit, Jim Carrey in a black suit. In the second movie, he looks a little like crazier. Then he starts to put on the red suit a little more. Yeah. And he's gearing up. And then third movie, I don't know. It could probably be even more. I don't know. It feels like he's already pretty much Eggman at this point, but he could go a step further, like with the real like crazy kicking in. Yeah, like
expect Eggman to be very funny and very good, like better than the first movie.
Anyways, that's gonna pretty much wrap up everything. I've said everything I need to say about this movie. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
All right. Thank you guys for watching this review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie. We'll review the video game when it comes out, which it won't, but they won't make a movie.
Will it have a movie?
They didn't make one for the first movie, but
maybe
I
they're
don't
waiting
know.
for the third one. Who knows?
It's gonna be weird seeing the human models. I don't know. They'll probably just repeat Sonic 06 with that. But anyway, if you guys enjoy our content and want to further help out our channel, please consider donating to our
Patreon.
I don't think we have the Patreon up anymore. Anyway, I'm sorry. Remember to smash the like button, turn on the notification bell. Check out our other channels known as SeetherCord Games, Seether Chills, and SeetherCord VODs. Watch me stream on Twitch. We don't really have a specific schedule, but usually at around 5 p.m. Central Time Zone, 6 p.m. Also, make sure to check out all of Chumi's social media. All that will be linked down in the description down below as well. And that's pretty much everything we got. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Yeah. But I do know, my wife and I, we loved the Batman calzone pizza from Little Caesars. You know about that?
In the disappearance of the
They don't do it anymore, but they stopped. It's like a calzone pizza. It's shaped like a bat, and they sold it at Little Caesars, and it had like 4 pieces of chicken in it, and then for the cheese, and then they have pepperoni for the other 8 slices that make the wings. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
We loved it. It was amazing.
I wish I had tried that.